I didn't script this. I don't know what I'm planning to say about stuff and things. So we are doing open source again this year. A couple AYAB contributors are coming to the Bay Area, my part of the world, and we're going to have a booth at Open Sauce to show off AYAB and knitting machines. Open Sauce is like VidCon meets Maker Faire. So a lot of like YouTube people and also engineering stuff, and we had a lot of fun last year, so we're doing it again. And I wanted to have something we could make like on the spot that would be fairly easy to make and also show off what AYAB is capable of. So I'm thinking friendship bracelets. But I have yet to do any research for this project, and I haven't done any swatching yet, so y'all get to watch that live. This is probably a good project for a bunch of scrap yarn, which I have a bunch of in a bin, actually right underneath this camera, so I'm going to see if I can use some of it up. And the vague plan is to find like a knitting chart alphabet library and digitize all of it, and then write a script to like concatenate letters together so that the friendship bracelets can say things. But I need to do some swatching first to find like a way of making these that's going to be easy to do in the moment in a large convention, and also like figure out how much real estate I have to work with for the letters, and then I have to go digitize everything and then write the script and do the stuff. So we're going to start with swatching and see if I can find something that I like. I lied, I haven't been swatching, I did some research instead, looking for an alphabet chart that would make sense at this kind of scale, and here are some things that I found. So I found like a long list, and I'll put links to all of this in the description, of different fonts, and some of them were maybe gonna work, but then I found this, which is from Pacific Knit Co., who I'm a big fan of because she puts out all these charts for Fair Isle stuff, and this is the part of the knitting that I'm not very good at, so I like using her stuff. These would be great if I was knitting like vertically, but I'll be knitting horizontally, so I think what I'm going to do is try to take these and shorten them and see how that goes. They might be a little funky, like the G is not going to be quite right and the S is not going to be quite right, but other than that, like the scale should be right. Okay, now I'm going to swatch. Okay, here's what I have come up with. This is some I-cord. Oh, my face is in the way. This is some I-cord, and then I increase, and we have a flat spot, but of course it's curling because it's stockinette, and then we have some more I-cord. And this is really easy to do. It's just slip in one direction and knit in the other for 3 stitches, and then really basic increases, and then some flat knitting, and then some really basic decreases. And then you can even like leave the strings long and not have to worry about it. And this curls a lot, which makes me think I might need to make it a little bit bigger. I need to do some more prototyping. But I made one in rayon in the hopes that it wouldn't curl as much. This is left over from my dress project. And it's still curling a bunch, probably because it hasn't been blocked. But like the idea is that you would walk out with this and it's not going to be blocked. So we need something that's going to work with it in this current state. So back to the chart, I was thinking about making these smaller and knitting them vertically. So like you would be able to hold the friendship bracelet like this and read it, but I'm thinking I might leave them as is because these are only 3 stitches wide. And the amount that's not curling in the center here is really only about 3 stitches, and then have it be vertical. And then we can do like initials, like monogram stuff. And that's a lot easier. So I'm gonna digitize a couple of these and then make one and see how wide it needs to be so that it's legible with even with the curling. So let me do that. So this is my design. I made a few individual letters and then I just put them together in GIMP. Eventually I'll automate this with Python, which I'm happy with the prototype. So this is what it looks like loaded up in AYAB, and let me make a prototype. And I have set this to go for 7 stitches from needle 3 to needle 4, and we'll see how it looks. I'm cast on, things are loaded up on AYAB, let's get started. Okay, that's end needle selection, we're not quite there yet. There we go. MC on, second color in, and we knit. Are we good? We good? Oh my god. All right, let's take this off before it completely falls apart. Okay, we have the first prototype, and first of all, it's backwards. Didn't occur to me. There's a setting in AYAB that'll reverse it. And second, you can't really tell what it says. Well, I mean, you kind of can. I'm going to make it 1 stitch wider on either side and see how it goes. So like, I thought that all the letters were only 3 stitches wide, but some of them are 5, like the M. So I'm going to make it a little wider and flip it and see how it does. And the floats on the back get completely hidden, so that's not going to cause any problems. It is a little big. 4 letters, like I don't have the daintiest hands, but 4 letters is a little much for my wrist. I might try to make these 1 or 2 stitches shorter and see if that helps a bit. So I'm gonna make my modifications and I'll be back. Okay, I have the next 2 prototypes. So this one is the right way around, and also a little bit wider, and you can clearly see what it says. But I decided to go 1 more wider, and we've got some issues starting to come up here. First, we've got longer floats on the side, so some of these ferrule stitches are like sticking out really weird because they have too much extra length in them, and that might be fixable by like adding some design into the edge so that the floats on the back aren't quite as long. But honestly, I think this might be it. I think this might be the way we're going to do it. And maybe I'll put like 2 rows of empty between each letter. That way, like we don't have to do edge selection on the entire thing, and then I can just build that into the final pattern. But 3 letters, like monogram style, will work for this. And you can read what it says. And it's made with AYAB, and I can totally automatically generate these with Python. It's just basic image manipulation, just sticking together a couple of bitmaps and outputting it in a format that AYAB can consume. So let's do that. Actually, let's do that after lunch. I'll come back. We're back. It's the next day. Ignore this mess over here. That's a different project. I have everything working, and it went a lot faster than I expected it to. Let me show you. So I digitized all of the letters in that alphabet that I found, and I have included the edge needle selection on the sides here so I don't have to worry about carriage settings or the width of the bracelet. And like most of these are fine. Some of them are a little funky because I shrunk these down by a whole row. But I think you can kind of tell what they are for the most part. And then I wrote a little Python script. This just takes a couple flags and then concatenates the images together and puts them out. And let me show you how that works. So we're gonna create an image, and then it shows up here, and it looks like this. And it's tiny. Look at that. And then we can just feed that into AYAB and knit some bracelets. So let me make at least one more prototype and see how it goes, and then decide what I want to do. Oh no! Okay, the yarn broke, something went wrong, but we still have a functional friendship bracelet. Look at that, you can read what it says! And it would go like that. All right, I'm gonna make one more with my channel initials, Knit Factory Impul. Okay, here is my second prototype with my channel name, initials, Knit Factory Impul. And you can read it, and it'll look good as a bracelet, and it's totally doable. I think this is the final design we're gonna go with. And I timed myself on this one, and it took 6 minutes from generating the image file to finishing this, and even like weaving in the ends. So it's doable in a short period of time. It remains to be seen if we will actually do this at open source, but it's an option. And now I'm gonna make a beaded one. I have some beading tools. I have some tiny little beads that I got for another project, and this really tiny hook. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a tiny hook, and it's just enough to put, you put a bead on the tiny hook, and then you pull up a stitch and transfer the bead from the tool to the stitch and put it back on the machine. And I haven't made a video about this yet because it's so time consuming, but with something small like this, I'm going to use AYAB to tell me which stitches need beads. So like the needle will stick out and I'll know that one needs a bead. And I've got some lightweight white yarn, so these will stand out against the yarn. So let me get set up to do that and show you how it works. Okay, I have started a new bracelet, and these are the needles selected because I have needles in the pattern, and also these ones are for the lettering. And I'm not doing any color work here, just beads. So I pick up a couple beads, pick up one bead. They don't all fit on the tool because they're not all that consistent, but I get enough of them that I can get something going. Oh, come on. There we go. That one fits. So we have a bead on the tool. And we are going to grab the stitch with the hook. Come on. With the hook, pull up off the stitch, put the bead onto the stitch, which you cannot see, and put the stitch back on the needle. Where are you? Right there. Come on. Okay, and now we have a bead on the stitch. And then I'm just going to do this for all the needles that are sticking out. Bead on tool. Pick up stitch. Oh, crap. This takes a little effort to figure out how to do it right, and I haven't done it in a while. So I have the stitch from the needle. Bead on stitch. Stitch back on needle. Come on. Go! Oh no, I dropped it. And we're back. You know what? I'm gonna get it with another tool. Okay. That's better. And one more. I think it actually might be easier to go tool. Ah, crap, I dropped. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is why I haven't made a video about this. Okay, come on. We just want the top stitch, and it's a little split, but that's fine. will go onto the transfer tool, and then onto you, and then bead goes down onto stitch, and then we go back to transfer tool. Come on, come on, get off, get off. Oh crap, it's twisted. Okay, there we go. And then back on to needle, and then we move on to the next row. Come on. Didn't really want to knit because the beads are a little chunky, but you can see that they're there. All right, I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera because it's always easier to do things off camera than on camera. Okay, I've gotten a little bit better at this, and I want to show you how it goes. So I load up a bead. That one doesn't fit. Come on. Come on. That one should fit. I load up a bead on the tool, and then I take my transfer tool and I pull a stitch off. And this only works if I constantly switch hands. So I put this in my left hand, then I get the hook on the stitch with my right, pull it off, and then push the bead down over the stitch, and then switch it to my left hand, and then transfer tool in the right, pick up the stitch again, hook off, back on the needle. And that's the only reasonable way for me to do this. So let me grab another bead. We have another bead on a tool, and then right hand transfer tool to the left hand, right hand hook in the stitch, and then to the left hand and push the bead down over the stitch, and then transfer tool in the right hand, pick up the stitch, hook off, come on, and then back on the needle. And then we need a row. And we keep going. Here are my friendship bracelets. This is the beaded one, this is the final prototype, this is one of the first prototypes, and this is like the first one I ever made. I'm happy with this pattern, and the code is up on my GitHub. I'll put a link to it. I know not everybody's comfortable like running Python locally, but it's actually pretty easy. I'm looking into ways to like run it inside Colab, which is like a Google Docs version of Jupyter Notebook. So you just like click a couple buttons and it'll run, but like not clear yet on if that's going to work out. If it is, I'll put a link in the description for channel members because like still prototyping things, still not ready to release to a wide audience for something like so new and unknown. So these are good to go. And I've shared them with my friends who are going to be joining me for open sauce. We'll see what they think. This might be a little too much work for in the moment. We might just make a couple like for each other or when friends stop by, because that's like the best part of open sauce. I see a bunch of friends I haven't seen in a while because they just like all organically go to these things, and we meet at my booth and it's great. But this project is done. And these are totally doable if you want to go make them yourself. The stuff is up. So I want to say thank you to channel members who make videos like this possible. If you would like to become a channel member, you can hit the join button down below. All channel members have early access to new videos, and channel members at the mid-tier and up get access to members-only videos where I show like behind-the-scenes stuff and some recent stuff from my visit to the UK last month and like health updates and stuff. If that's your thing, go check it out. Thanks for watching. Happy knitting. We need a thumbnail. There we go. I like that a little better because my face is out of focus. Okay, let's try some good.